Hello guys and welcome to TFT Worlds, Day 1, Game number 4. Enjoy.
Okay, I mean augments.
That's right, that's right. Which of the starter augments is he going to choose? 1, 2, or 3? Let's go into it. We have a Tier Glove Belt Star. We talked about on the previous team. What do you think about this item star here, baby?
I feel it's actually better to go against the rhythm. So if you have a lot of tier stars, there will be more people looking for AP compositions, like for example, like Twist of Fate. So you can actually try to purposely build into AD, which will be less contested for a chance to get a decent 4-fast 3-star.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes you do that and you realize, wait, everyone thought the same thing. I played these stars where 7 people go AD. I'm like, wait a second. That's not how it's supposed to work at all.
Yeah, that's always unfortunate, right? We've had our fair share of competing on comms today as well, as Enzo is going to pick up a duplicator here. Enzo, if you don't know anything about that EMEA player, he has been a massive beast on ladder for all of the region for EMEA and came into regionals and just had the craziest read on meta that I've ever seen. He completely dominated day 1, day 2. He got up to like 70-something points,
Incredible.
which is absolutely astonishing. And he's definitely, I think, maybe a player that people don't know as much just yet.
I mean, that's an average of 3.0 at better. So he crushed it that tournament. And let's see if he can crush it here. 1-2-1 to start things off.
It.
Now, the 1-2 cost hero augment lobby is the lobby with the most amount of variance. There are 1 cost or 2 cost hero augments that are very, very powerful, while some seem very, very weak. So people will decide, do they want to gamble for the perfect 1-2 cost, or will they just go for a normal, mediocre 1-2 cost for safe top 4?
And don't forget that this is also a tier start, like 3 people starting tier. So we talk about Lulu reroll. We might see some of that.
The growth spurt on the side of 9, but is not going to be picked up. And as I'm looking across the board, I don't think I see any Lulu augments just yet. There's 3 Lucians and 2 Blitzcranks. If I counted correctly, we're going to see which of them are rocket grabs, but we'll see.
I mean, that's good for potential pick'ems. I picked Hyperbolic Time Chamber to be the most commonly picked augments. And it looks like right now it's actually justified. 3 people want to go for power leveling.
Wow, because it's a tier star, people want to go for hyperbolics, get that shield, just get that blue up, get that econ, get that like a win streak going on.
I'm confused. Sorry, but Skillfulism is on Soul Eater.
Okay, so he wants to go back to the well. He said, you know what, Anima Squad, that was a fluke for me, and Shima Pen went second. I want another crack at it. Or he might go for mascots. I think a lot of people really underestimate Vex mascots with Riftwalker. That's yet another variations you can play this Riftwalker comp.
Actually, if you go for Soul Eater, one of the best compositions is, as you said, as Frodan said, the Riftwalker mascot composition. Because you have Soul Eater, you're very likely to win streak during your limit game, and the end game finish has a significant amount of healing, so it's not that bad at all.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let him cook. I'm ready for it. We're
see.
also seeing the rocket grab coming out of 9,
Rat.
but with 3
Wow.
3 players on that hyperbolic time chamber, everybody else will need to look to match that tempo.
There's been also an evolving school of thought of whether or not it's worth slamming tier items onto the Lucian as well, because blue buff is good for charging the hyperbolic time chamber, but then what do you do with it late game?
Yeah.
It feels like it's like an item that is very awkward to use. Maybe put on a Aurelion Soul or something, but people haven't been able to figure it out. So some people said that maybe instead you just let Lucian ramp up with other items, just have him as an item holder and then transition off. What do you think, baby?
Usually the cleanest way to use blue buff with Lucian is to build into a Twist of Fate, Nico hybrid composition, and you can give the blue buff to Twist of Fate or Nico. Both are fine because blue buff does allow the Twist of Fate to ult instantly, which is a huge advantage in these fights. But mostly the augment isn't really to make a perfect endgame, is to get that level advantage, get that value advantage, and out-upgrade and outnumber your opponents to win. So it's more about the value than the itemizations or BIS in general.
Man, just look how passionate Bebe is. Whenever he sees an augment that lets you level really fast, you can just hear it in his voice.
Yeah, he wishes he was in that lobby right now.
He was
One
like
of
me.
the 3 players is like, yes, give me that power leveling.
Why is this guy not level 6 right now?
Baby would have been level 7 here.
He's just not playing it nearly as well. Look at this. Vidigal has a rel 2 for hold the line. He is going to go for this Kaisa composition. This is a start that I think you can play Kaisa from.
Ah, yes, the early 3-cost 3-star into 4th place strat. Yeah, nice strat. I like it.
We'll see, man. I mean, he has rel 2, which should stabilize. The question will be, how does he choose to itemize? If he's going to prioritize a Shiv instead. I think there's a school of thought that believes that you should be prioritizing the rel items to start things off. So instead of going for, say, the Shiv, you instead go for like a Dragon's Claw or something else to make Rel really unkillable.
That's actually a really good point. Currently, you want to focus on the unit that has more upgrades and more value. Right now, since he does have the Rel at the ready, you could focus on a tank itemization, or currently this comp also needs 2 bows to be very, very like powerful, right? You do want that statics, and you can also use that Guinsus instead of Shojins on the Kaisa as well too. So we'll see what he decides to go for.
There is a bow with a tier in that carousel here on an Alistair. I know he has a tier already, but that's the only bow that's there, and it's being picked up.
Jing is crying with 3 tiers.
Tier.
Not tilt mode, I guess. Not tilt mode.
So clearly he's going for blue buff, which getting one of those players who will start with Lulu too. He might actually be trying to go for a Lulu reroll. We'll have to see.
He's on that hyperbolic time chamber, so maybe even going for the blue buff for the Lucian like we talked about could be an angle for him, and then move that later to a unit that we will have to find out what it is.
The danger of that is that he's lower HP, so he's investing more into his economy in what sense. Blue buff Lucian, when you're just not playing any quick draws, you're not even getting a lot of damage items, doesn't actually do much.
I actually see this. I see Jing saving a lot of econ and saving a lot of tiers for the next game. Yeah!
We'll see.
No.
We'll see. Hold on. Is admin is anything particularly strong here? On kill AP, maybe, but
HP at best.
yeah, not that strong, unfortunately.
So right now, Jing is in a pickle. Now, usually when you go for the
there we
hyperbolic
go.
star, you do need to be able to win streak, but if you don't win streak, you're gonna have a very weak board late game. That's not really gonna do that much.
We just saw a glimpse of some of the EMEA players who are in Berlin at the LEC studio playing live from there, being good taken care of, as I heard from some of the Riot employees. We know the guy that's taking care of them, so I can assure you they're in good hands. Ging, fortunately, playing from home, but we'll see how he fares with that blue buff slam.
Yeah, another thing that happened, by the way, with on the other side, Vidicol ended up going for Gunblade and started prioritizing frontline items with the belt on the Rel. So great job there, not to get baited into feeling like you have to make all these offensive items. So people think I'm playing Kaisa, they forget that Rel is often the really big piece of that puzzle.
Okay, am I the only one that's waiting for that stage 2-7 into 2 more tiers on Jing?
Come on!
Don't say that, man!
There's
Come
a
on!
very popular children's song. It goes something like "Let It Go." Maybe drop it. We'll see where the tier goes for Ging as he moves into the next round.
Level
Against
6.
Kami Madoka, who has leveled up, is also on that hyperbolic time chamber, so maybe getting a couple more casts here, but also maybe using some of that economy as we're looking at his at least 10 gold that he has.
And for those who don't know what hyperbolic time chamber do, there is a very lovely description on the left that says gain illusion. The first time your strongest illusion casts ability, you get 2 EXP, and every 3 more after you get 2 more. So the longer the fight goes, or the more ults they cast, the more economy you gain, and the harder you can snowball.
Yeah, but you know, there's a tale of 2 different types of hyperbolic times. You have people who are like in the middle who are preserving HP, and then Ging and Shikami Madoka who are basically at the bottom. But Ging has a big separation, 22 HP.
Looking at this board, Dr. O, you were kind of doubting him going into this game, but he's on 100 HP streaking with Underground.
Streak Underground, okay.
Oh, actually, this might be Dr. O's time in the limelight. He currently has an underground build-up. He's going to aim for at least 3 or 4. 3 for a prismatic item, 4 for Force of Natures, and then he's going to build into value with the econ that he got from his full win streak, so he actually is in a situation to win. Now, the question is, what deck will Dr. O end with that will be able to get first place in the lobby? That's what he has to figure out.
A lot of people end up picking dynamic defenses to win streak early because of how tanky Blitzcrank 2 is, and you can see he didn't even itemize Blitzcrank 2. But the other is that you get to start playing Gargoyle to immediately go into a mech. So I think that this would be an interesting mech setup. We actually haven't seen too many people prioritize it. The few that did not do well. Tech Summers played in game 1, went bot 4, and that's because mech is just falling more and more out of favor. With this start, though, I could see it actually happening.
Yeah, and you can see he's also already holding on to the Wukongs here, has found a Belveth to maybe help that backline on a mecha board until he gets us a mirror or something like that going. So I would say he's in a great spot.
If he slams Gunblade, it almost certainly confirms it, because Gunblade's really good with single target high HP tanks, because you could heal the same thing repeatedly instead of spreading it out across your front line.
Ah, yes, the typical pick 2 tiers at the Kurzul to get 1
Oh no! We got another tier! How'd you do? Baby, please.
Oh, no,
And he got hooked.
Have you been snooping in Mortdog's notes? You know you're not allowed to read the script.
He got rocket grabbed as well to add insult to injury. It's so devastating here for Ging. It's okay, though. I guess technically we're still on lose streak. Wait, do we win anyways?
It seems like that looks to be a win. I mean, depends on that Lucian here. He might
Lucian's
be
not
able to
ulting.
take something out. No.
Well, you know,
It's too strong.
it's important because he did roll his gold.
Oh!
Perfect loss calculated.
He knew it.
He knew, he knew.
Silver Augment's coming in.
Whoa,
gosh.
recombobulator right now. He's got a Ribbon 2-star in the
Yes!
first moment.
He can get a 2-star forecast.
Yeah.
Hold on, do it, Ging.
We want to
Come
see that
on,
board. Let's look at that board
come
right
on.
now, guys. Ging is going to press the recombobulator.
Yeah! That's a guarantee.
Woo! Now that's how you play the game.
Oh, okay, now all of a sudden,
He's got a quick draw comp ready.
all of a sudden, Ging looks like he's in a fantastic spot.
Okay, so he's got a mech quick draws. He just needs to get tank itemization for his Garen to buy time. He's got Lucian to scale economy. He's got Misfortune for the damage. He's got Israel for the extra damage as well too. This is actually looking quite nice.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this one, but looking across the augments, player needs to start to be careful. We know we have a rocket grab in this lobby. Now, Just Latte also with the future side pickup, it is going to get a little bit intimidating with your positioning, and you need to look out for those two players for sure.
Now, there is actually a strategy that you can do against all these Blitzcranks and Zephyrs that many people underestimate, and this strat is called
Taking notes?
do nothing. Yeah, I mean, most people
That's so funny.
think about Zephyrs and Blitzcrank, so they purposely position badly against everybody else and never face against the Blitzcrank Zephyrs.
During game 2, I was watching Lobby 3 back then, and Skillfulism came into the chat saying, I got a second place because Bintum didn't move his Zephyr for 4 rounds. So this is so funny that you're saying that.
Kind of funny how doing nothing is actually the best play you can make.
Sometimes, yeah. Baby has a funny story of how he tried to one time like juke someone's Zephyr like back and forth, and turns out he didn't actually move anything, and Bebe moved into the Zephyr by accident. Well, hopefully not going to happen this case here.
Shadow boxing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we all fight our own demons. That's okay. Ging, however, is fighting with power. Garen 2 on the board. We have 2 misfortunes hopping over to Jas Latte, who is on a little bit of a Frankenstein board. Gadgeteen in, Oxforce in, Defender in, and a Sivir in.
Yeah, the thing about these Infinity Malgam is that they give a lot of economy while being strong during the early mid game. So right now I'm assuming that's time and a half right on Severe. So that's time and a half on Severe to get the extra econ while maintaining a very decent amount of like HP, which will allow him to level up to high levels, outnumber, outvalue, and achieve the victory.
Yeah, really interesting transition from Gadgeteen Oxforce, and he's trying to pivot laterally here into Infinite Team, so he's racking it up. The question will also be if he stays and rerolls for Sivir 3. There's 2 kinds of time and a half players, people that try to stay at 6, roll to hit Sivir 3 and a bunch of the units. We saw VCLF do exactly this with Golden Ticket. And then the people who use it to push the levels instead and try to go for fast 8, and if they're strong enough, even go to level 9.
Right now, I think this lesser Nico is going to guarantee the Severe player to go for 3-star instead because it's not that far off, and that's what matters. Is it far off? Do I need to use
That's
a lot of gold or
misfortune
not?
2 for Ging.
Oh my gosh.
And
With the
he
Shojin.
He has a Shojin if he
Yeah.
wants it, yeah.
Wait, actually, that could have been slightly a bait because he doesn't have any tank itemizations to ready.
That's
He has-
true. That's right. He's
Yeah.
going too much on the offense. That he has to be careful not to over-index on offensive items.
Let's see if the misfortune baited the game or not.
But it is strong now. That's what's important, and he needs to try to win out from his lose streak position. So I can understand why you want to do that.
he could actually move the Jewel Gauntlet to Misfortune and keep the blue buff on Lucian. That's also one method of doing it.
Yeah,
so that,
2 removers.
so that
Yeah.
you can actually get the EXP and be strong at the same time. We shall see.
I'd be okay with that. And you can move the shift. Yeah, exactly. So I think that this is a pretty interesting spot here for Ging.
Yeah. Frodan loves that shit Morgana, right?
I love it. It's
Who
so good.
doesn't?
For people who don't know already, if you put a static shiv onto Morgana, anything that gets damaged by her, including the lightning procs, activate her passive, so you can sunder targets in the back, almost making you feel like you don't need Last Whisper anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
just shredding all across the board. We'll see how it goes as that misfortune is being targeted right from the get-go. Not going to be a problem for her as the bullet rain comes in, and we are in stage 3-5. He already has a 2-star forecast cost. That is such a power spike for him. Despite not having defensive items, I think the Garen 2 is just strong enough together with those Ox forces.
I mean, if I were to compliment Jing here, he actually if I were to compliment Jing here, that's actually positioning around the Zephyrs during the entire course of the fight. So he actually did manage to not get punished, which is pretty cool.
Yep, very smart. And also the rocket grabs, you just got to be on point in this lobby, because if you get caught off guard, that could just be the end of your battle here. Checking in with 9 from Latin America. Kind of a player that we haven't really talked much about here, Makes. What do you make of his situation?
It's interesting because both of his augments are not really board strength, right? He has picked up the Tiny Titans, he has picked up the Rocket Grab. Of course, the Rocket Grab allowing him to play in a certain way, but not necessarily making his board stronger. And he's only running some Renegades right now, which works. But as you can see, he has 3 losses in a tank, so soon enough, he will need to change it up just a little bit and find a composition that is actually stronger than what he has going.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that's clearly trying to line up for potentially like a Jhin Renegade setup, but this is the downside of playing around Renegades early, is that it doesn't actually do a lot much damage. You need to have strong base, and Lucian is anything but strong base stats right now.
If I were to comment on this comp, I would say, this man, he went for Tiny Titans, but he's not going for Undergrounds. This is ridiculous. I can't believe it.
Well, I mean, not everyone can hit Underground. And
yeah, just hit Underground.
Yeah, I feel like it's just hit Underground.
I mean, you can go for late Undergrounds, too, to get something out of it. I don't know.
1 in OT, so we're able to turn things around. So all things considering, we're reasonably healthy, right? We're at 91. The question will be, does he try to skip level 7? I think a lot of this spot, people will feel like, I don't want to roll at 7 all, I have 91 HP. If he does skip 7, when does he go to 8? Is he going to go at 4 or 5? A lot can happen. You can take big punishment, and all of a sudden that Tiny Titan advantage goes away. Let's see what risk he takes.
That's a really good question for Frodan. Now, 9 cannot skip level 7, because if he decides just full tank damage, his HP output will be far too low. So he does need to stabilize at level 7, roll for at least like a Jhin, and we'll see exactly how this goes.
He just found the Viego from that PvE round, being already on the Renegades. That definitely has to help the spot. Another one in the shop.
Viego 2 if he wants it, or he wants to go into Warwick potentially.
Oh, that's not a good idea. I think he does need to go for the Viego. He does need to look for that Jhin. He does have the perfect itemization to give Jhin and has a chance to win that way, but he needs to find it. That's the sad thing about his spot. He can't save money, and if he doesn't save money, he can't win during the late game. Oh, the full package.
Yeah.
He's doing time.
He has the entire thing. He's got Vex and Pike and Jhin in the same shop. Wow. A little bit too slow, and this is going back to what you said previously. You acknowledge Bebe, someone rolling during PvE round. He needed every second he could get.
That is completely correct. I feel it would have been nice if he tried, even if he failed, because that would be a really good story, right? So I am kind of sad about that, but this is exactly the real point. He needs to roll down until he finds Jhin, which is a holder of all his damage itemizations. And once he puts the Jhin down on the board with 5 Renegades, he will be able to stabilize, and that's when he can start saving up economy.
Augments are coming up. Those are the last augments that we're gonna get. We had early hero augments. We're having silver augments to follow it up. And what is next for us in store? Gonna see some gold augments to roll around. And 9 actually finds Exiles right from the get-go, picks them up.
Portable Forge for Gang looking for frontline items. Didn't find any. No Anima Visage, no Eternal Winter, no Death Defiance. And so he has to potentially take more offensive items. Zonia's is one of the stronger items you can get onto that MF. But we'll see if that's what he ends up choosing to do. Vidigal hit Ralph 3, by the way, finally online. But no Kaisas.
Wow, LeBlanc 2 has a build-up to save as much HP. 2 lesser Nikos held onto his inventory, and one beautiful Miss Kaisa in the corner. Kaisa should be a bit more stronger than LeBlanc 2 because
but he's holding it on because he doesn't have a single stack. He just found that Kaisa.
Just found it, yeah.
So he wants to get at least some preparation stacks on her before he slots her in.
A lot of people also believe that Miss Fortune isn't the unit you play around anymore in this composition because of her nerfs. So, you know, I wonder if instead people are to be playing around Nico as the secondary support damage because you want to go vertical Star Guardians. Instead, you could put the Star Guardian emblem on a Garen, get repeated cast in the front line. We'll see. It kind of depends on what vertical hits.
There is a synergy that is overrated here, and that is going to be actually Wukong with the defenders. I feel it would have been better if he sold the Wukong and the LeBlanc, replaced for Kaisa, move the itemizations, add in the Lux, and get that juicy 6-star Guardian synergy for the battle potential. But he is still winning though, so it's not that bad.
He might still do that, right? He can still do that. I believe he's trying to hold on to that Kaisa due to not really pounding any early. But yeah, Dr. O still in a great spot, 55 HP. Does he want this heist, or does he want to continue into the next one?
Oh no, Earth's Archangel's Pad is actually one of the strongest Radiant itemization you can give to, especially since his composition can use an Ace at the ready. I am slightly shocked about that choice.
Yeah, I'm shocked, but he has so much HP, and I think he wants to go even bigger. Look at Dr. O, he has 6 points. He's thinking about the tournament situation. Oh, he's not thinking about the Zephyr, though. He got his Belveth caught. He's thinking about whether or not he can play for that first place and get back into the standings, baby.
Okay, so currently he doesn't really have any good direction. He's just trying to go for any forecast 2-star, and with his excess economy, he needs to greed more econ to have a chance to get a forecast like a 3-star. But there are opponents with a lot of econ in this lobby. We got 1.5 from our severe 3-star from Jazz Latte, and we have 3 hyperbolic like a player. So it's an issue whether this econ will give him the edge.
Just putting in a little bit of information for our stat nerdy friends. We're hearing from our admins that Portable Forge, across the 10 games that we had today already, has an 1.7 average placement with an 80% top 4 rate.
That's pretty good. Looks like Portable Forge is pretty damn strong if you get their setup for it. And we saw a couple people having to pick things like Forge as well. Dr. O, by the way, has a second Garen. We talked about at the very beginning of the game that he might go for mech. He even picked a first aid kit, which I think is pretty interesting because it's an opportunity for him to synergize with Redemption and Gunblade. So the cap, the absolute ceiling of what Dr. O can go for, is very strong. Will he be able to get to it?
This is the reroll time for Dr. O. Unfortunately, we will not be able to see it. We go back to skillfulism.
He did go Anima Squad.
Yeah. He did go Anima Squad, and so far it's not really working. He's on 20 HP, but we're hopping back to Dr. O, who's 1 Garen away from the Garen 2. Does he keep on rolling here?
He does have 5 underground in, so he wants to play it for 1 round, lose 1 more time, and get to that 10 out of 10 and cash out at 4-6. His transition is going to be really difficult, though, because he has so many things to do in just 30 seconds.
Why is he not re-rolling with like 8 pairs? I can't get that. You're supposed to roll down here to find a few forecast 2-stars, get direction, stabilize a bit more, but I guess he's just trying to stack. But if you're just going to stack underground, it's just better to hold and chill with econ. So slightly thought about
He might sell up to like 30 or 40 here. He's got a lot of units I don't think he's going to actually play, like this Nico, for example, and the Oxforce units he's going to be going for mech.
Yeah, you can see him sell off both Garens here.
Oh, whoa, he's going the opposite direction. He's going to go into Oxforce Spell Slingers.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I was also surprised. I thought we're going for the Garens. That's what we're... No. Change of plans, boys, as we move into the heist.
Okay, he's got
from the get-go.
He's got to reforge that. It would be nice if that reforge gave a Earth's Archangel or something, right? I think that'd be really good, huh?
Yeah, you'd really like that, wouldn't you?
Buying Garens again after selling them, that's not good because he's not being decisive. He doesn't really know what to do at the moment, and then the timer is ticking 10 seconds left on the clock. Taking every point of damage here will change his placement in this game. He needs to decide very quickly, what is he going to do? Start reforging the...
Oh, he left. He got also unlucky because he TP'd away. Therefore, he can't collect the orbs on his board. Did he get the Shroud off?
Okay, so I only have one thing to say to this, guys.
Okay, give him a break. Yeah, it's hard to play at the championship. Maybe he got a little bit kerfuzzled here, and we'll see how it goes for him. Definitely not going to be a win, but other players are also down there. Ging being taken down to 23 HP. Skillfulism is still fighting for his life, but might also lose. Will take a win here and turn it around.
That's not good. Okay, we can give him a break, but no one in the lobby will, because most of his items were left behind. You can see exactly what we're talking about, which is the transition. He doesn't have that much HP. He is not allowed to lose basically for the rest of the game. If he does, it has to be by 1 or 2 units at most.
Okay, so this is already checkmate for Dr. O here because the composition that he decided to go for is not really that strong after stage 5. It's something that you snowball like early for the advantage.
He just removed his Shroud because he accidentally played it onto the Echo. The wheels are coming off of this train.
I think he misclicked clicked the magnetic remover for like Reforger. So he was trying to Reforge it, but he pressed the remover instead. Yeah.
Okay, he does have a Zonia's though. Zonia's is quite good. If he got it on TF, there's so many like small things that are just not being optimized here, but his board is strong. He has a lot of items. He has the ingredients to potentially make a comeback into the game, but I just don't think he has enough HP to do it.
He needs to go for that Reforge gamble. He needs to get something quite decent. I would prefer if he did a bit earlier so he can think and process the information out first. If he Reforged first and then proc the anvil, then he would have a better direction of going on. I am waiting for that Reforge, unless he wants to.
He's gonna Reforge. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Oh, he's not. He's going to stack Tank Diego.
Come on, that Shroud. This time it has to hit, please. Every HP is going to...
All right.
It'll find the Ace-Ul right away. Dr. O has done it. Hopefully being able to stabilize here. The Twisted Fate will dish out quite some damage supported by that Viego. It is only a Viego 1, but he has 3 items, one of them being Sonya's, recognized for being extremely strong, and you can see the power coming out of him against Enzo, who's currently leading the lobby. That's a very good sign for Dr. O.
Like we said, his board has all the stuff that can make a good comeback. It's about his HP, because there are other people who are going to be really strong. Look out from right above. Skillfulism is also shrieking with Anima Squad here to come with a vengeance.
All right, we're looking at Shikame's board at the moment, going for the exact same composition. Exactly the same composition, because Twisted Fate Oxforce is a very strong meta deck, but slightly less under upgrade. Is that a Twisted Fate 1-star, not 2-star?
It is.
So, we know that Dr. O has 5 Twisted Fates already. He has a Twisted Fate 2 and 2 on bench, so Shikame may be just missing those Twisted Fates, as we are going to look at Ging's board on the opposite side and Vidigal's board here on our side. He found that hold the line early on. He found the Star Guardian Crest, and he is itemizing that Kaisa.
Actually, this is a really beautiful play from Jing. Not only did he use his Recombobulator really well to build in direction, he actually managed to use the Lucian to eco hard to level 9 and transition to 4 A's composition with Misfortune Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and he has Janna too as well on 9, so Ging is in a really, really good spot, able to deal big damage to Vidigal, but Skillfulism and Shikame Madoka are also on the ropes as well. And we kind of look a lot at this composition, and it just doesn't seem like there's damage. We have Misfortune 2 with Infinity Edge, not particularly really good, and you have Kaisa 2, which we know is not good at this stage of the game.
I mean, he went for Rel, so he's gonna lose. Simple, right?
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
We've actually seen a lot of people who have started off with Rel 2 and able to snowball that lead, but Vidigal did not have the damage to really supplement that.
It's not as simple as this. Riven 3 into 8th.
Okay. I'm going to interrupt you here for a second, because Skillfulism and Shikame Madoka are both fighting for their lives here, meeting enemies that have quite a lot of HP, so they're not too worried. Hopefully they can turn it around. In the bottom right, you're seeing the Vayne that is 2 Vaynes away from Vayne 3. Will it be enough to actually do a lot of damage here? And it's looking very good for Skillfulism. Shikame Madoka also finding a win on the left side.
Vayne 3 is actually still a really powerful unit to play around in this spot. We talked about how Vayne 3 is more of the keys to play around the Anima Squad than Misfortune. And in this spot, Ging also took a loss as well. So 8th is on the table for 5 players. Dr. O somehow has moved up to 4th place.
I mean, it's only stage 5. Why is everybody dying?
The amount of tempo that was being dealt with Hyperbolic Time Chamber at the beginning of the game, there's so many people who are over leveled, so you just take an extra 2, an extra 3 every round.
And usually we have one person that stays at a really high HP total, but I'm surprised that nobody is at high HP in this game. This is actually very rare to see.
It's funny because there was so much going on, right? We had the Hyperbolic Time Chambers, we had the Tiny Titans, we had some extra stuff going on as well, but Ging finding some extra good items here.
This is a punish for what we talked about at the beginning of the game, which is he didn't have defensive items. He still has suboptimal items. He does have Redemption and Vow, but Titans is not particularly really good unless you're playing things like full power to Sword Garen. And so this is going back to exactly what Babe was talking about.
I mean, this is a situation where he needs a bit more damage for the aces to execute the enemy composition, right? So he's trying to add in a bit more DPS, because Garen with Time Resolve does do a lot of AoE physical damage to help trigger that ace synergy.
Okay, let's see if it's enough. It's either going to be Skillfulism or Ging on the right side of your screen. One of these 2 players is going to take a massive hit, and Ging has those aces going, but can they actually execute what they promised to do? 2. Ging is going to take a loss here. Probably the Vayne still alive, and she will put him in. Shikame Madoka and Ging both being knocked out here, and that minus HP is going to matter. Put Ging to the 7th place.
At 7th, at least, you know, it was nice because Ging was looking like he potentially was going to go 8th there. But there's some really strong Riftwalker board. Enzo looks very powerful, one of the big candidates to win this lobby. If Skillful can get to Vayne 3, I think there's a possibility he can sneak into that top 4. And all of a sudden, 9 is at 16 HP. Anybody can get second here to challenge Enzo.
Well, this is a lobby where a lot of people start with Lucian, so there was a lot of economy, but the endgame taste, the endgame finisher is very weak. That's why we're seeing a situation like this. Everybody low on HP, everybody's having suboptimal compositions, but still they're battling it out to their best to get a good placement. Janna half the board on Skillful. It's times who's going to be winning this fight. It's going to be the Vayne, it's going to be the Twisted Fate, and it seems to be slightly, I mean, very heavily favored towards Twisted Fate's size. The DPS potential rolling down for that Vayne, just in case he finds it, but unfortunately cannot.
And Dr. Rowe has done it, a top 4 comeback against the odds. It looked real rocky. We talked about how he had the right things to do to get back to that top 4, and once the ship had stabilized, he set course for that top 4.
So we actually do have a lot of forecast 2-stars facing each other. Which is going to be? Is it going to be the Riftwalker Jin composition? Is it going to be the Twist Fate composition? We shall have to see amongst the surviving players of this lobby.
Yeah, we're looking at Enzo and both 9 who have the Exiles in. They're both a little bit more tanky with their compositions, playing both the Riftwalkers, and you can see that maybe the thrill of the hunt is going to be a massive difference for Enzo, who's currently leading the lobby by just a little bit. Everybody is going to get some treats here from the PvE round.
And another game, another Kaisa top 4, you know, just managed to do it. Just put it out there. I think this comp can get the top 4, maybe even better. That's a Kaisa 3 coming hot. We needed more damage. Wait, we already have an RFC, an IE on Misfortune. Not exactly the itemization of choice, but we'll see if this is good enough to play for top 2.
But actually, that is pretty impressive. He actually capitalized on the deck that was offered to him, which is very flexible and performing quite decent. I am actually quite impressed.
All right, we'll see the final matchups here, potentially steal top 2.
Yeah, we saw him in between really kind of believe in the long-term strength of the prep, but the Kaisa is going to get Zephyr right from the get-go. So will the Misfortune. Enzo coming in with 2 Zephyrs in the back line due to the Thieves' Gloves on his Jhin. But will it be enough to face the power of the Kaisa 3? She is powering up. She is onto the Jhin. The Misfortune is going to kill him.
Dr. Rowe!
And Vidigal will find a win here.
Don't look now. Dr. Rowe is also continuing his streak. Can he actually go all the way and win this?
Actually,
going level 9.
Yes, he might have a good chance. He did save enough economy. He's finding that Janna 2-star, 5-cost 2-star. And we saw how much damage that Janna did, and the opponents are actually heavily out-leveled. Level 9 versus level 7 versus level 8. Dr. O is actually looking in a spot where he can solidify getting first place.
I don't think anyone's stronger than him.
Wow.
I don't think anyone's stronger than him. I think with the Shroud is also in particular really devastating because it stops units like Rel from being able to get charge going on. He has a Janna 2 now, so he has 3 sources of damage. I think he's it.
There's 2 codes
Zephyr
on that Janna as well. The Viego is going to get Zephyr, but the Twisted Fate is untouched. Shroud of Stillness is going to come in for both sides as everybody is going to lose a little bit of mana power, but Enzo facing what could be his death in this round. The Twisted Fate completely untouched. Janna and Cinder in the backline.
Beautiful.
Are just so much power, and Vidigal is fighting what seems to be a copy. Can he survive, or is he going to get knocked out as Dr. O looks to be the dominator of this lobby? Vidigal is holding on.
Top 2.
I was hoping for that double kill there, but it's going to be actually Kaisa 3-star versus Rel 3-star. Can the Twisted Fate, can the Janna get through the front line and cut off for the victory? We shall have to see.
I don't know. I'm wondering how position can really influence this because there's things like the Shroud and things like the Janna, right? It hits biggest clump.
Okay, so the biggest factor is that Dr. O needs to make sure Echo hits the Kaisa. So it needs to be right in front of Kaisa's side. And we do need to make sure that our fine like a Rel player splits his board so he doesn't get AoE Janna ulted. So we shall see if we can make that happen.
All right, he moves in the Kaisa right in the middle. She's going to get hit by that Shroud right away, losing out a little bit, but the Misfortune is untouched. Let's see if that is enough. The ult comes in, the bullet time rains down. No units being taken out so far. Real holds the line for Vidigal as the Kaisa keeps on going. One more ult from the Misfortune. Can he do it? Can the Star Guardian reign supreme here against Dr. He's trying so hard, and he will succeed!
Oh my god, it's so close, and we're coming down to the stage 6 carousel.
We're actually having one more fight left, and there's a Spell Singer like Spat. There's a lot of damage itemization. There's CC immunity from Quicksilvers. What's the itemized the Vigil wants to get here? Can Vigil also hit level 8 to get out value into an Aegis Synergy or something like that? We shall see.
Wait, what is... He took a Riftwalker Emblem on...
5 gold. He took 5 gold for level, right?
Oh, he wants to throw more units in because of the Syndra.
Yes. He thought that there is no itemization that he really needed since his items are all filled, so he's leveling
Level
up,
8.
selling the Urgot, re-rolling for maybe like an Aegis so that he can survive the magic damage from Janna, and maybe he can get a more secure victory. Never forget, he is stronger than the previous fight. He's much more powerful, so as long as he positions his Kaisa away from the Echo like the previous fight, he will have a chance to win the fight.
Dr. O sold his Viego and moved items to Nico too, so now we have another carry on the table here.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe the Nico is enough to turn this one around. The Kaisa is quite far away from the Ecto. Will it be enough? He has charged order. The Antenna is coming in, and the Kaisa is under the power. She is getting hit from all of the side. The Echo is onto her. The Leona is onto her. She is not getting any breaks here, but the Gunblade doing so much here for the Kaisa. She keeps on going. Can she do it? 1 versus 4. Vidigal will face Dr. O's power. You have doubted him, but he's on top of this lobby.
Korea.